What's going on, Dolphins? This is Pedro the Fantastic here with the Cubilly Fins Talk live show, episode 14. The Dolphins played on my birthday, played on Thanksgiving, played on Primetime. Let's bring in the co-host. Matt Finevo Mahaffey.
Yes, sir.
Johnny O.
What's up, brother? I think it's episode 15.
15. Are we?
15.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you keep up with that. I'll make sure I correct it because I always got to make a mistake here and there and always go back. Spelling, numbers, let's do this, right? First off, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everybody. Thanksgiving was fun. I quickly want to say that I was at my parents' house for Thanksgiving, watching the game. Obviously, what happened. At halftime, my dad went to bed. He's old school because, he's drinking. You get older, you drink 3-4 beers. He was sleepy anyways, maybe he didn't get sleep. But he went to bed. He didn't go to bed. He was sitting there in his room, just trying to watch something else because he already knew what was coming. So anyways, I'm hopeful. I stayed in Sweetwater about an hour drive from my parents till the second and goal, the third and goal, and the fourth and goal. And when they stopped us, yeah, I was, of course, not happy, and then drove home. And then what happened was this kid makes a video. And he feels the way we all do. Let's start the show with this right here real quick. Hopefully I can play it right. Y'all know this video.
Dolphins fan, asshole. You're ruining my life, dude. You're from Jersey. You didn't have to claim the Giants or the Jets. You could have claimed fucking Philly, bro. Anything, man. What was it, Chad Henne? Dante Culpepper? What made you pick this fucking team? Because you're ruining my life. You're ruining my life. I haven't seen a fucking playoff win. I'm 25 years old. Why'd you have to become a Dolphins fan?
Well, let's start it off, man. Matt Mahaffey, man. What are your thoughts, man, on just whatever, man? Just everything, man. What the kid said. This is a 25-year-old young man, but yeah, give us your thoughts. That's his thoughts.
Well, I mean, I'm not that old, but I am getting older to where I almost can't remember the last time we won a playoff game. I was his age. I was in my early 20s the last time. And I'm 46 years old now. So there you go. The last time we won a playoff game, so that was 24 years ago. So I was 22 years old. So it's getting to the point where I didn't have gray hair. I'm now a grandfather. Never mind being a father. I'm now a grandfather. And we haven't won a playoff game in this same time frame. So it's the same song and dance every year. We come on here every week and we talk about what we think the Dolphins need to do for this week's game, what we think they're going to do for the future. And then a year from now, we're going to be like, okay, high expectations again. And they're just going to keep doing the same thing because we're in this cycle of mediocrity. And for some reason or another, we cannot break through the barrier of mediocrity. And I don't have the answer. Nobody has the answer. I hope we can figure it out pretty quick because it's getting ridiculous.
Let's talk about it, Johnny O. Let's talk about it.
I am old enough and got stuck being a Dolphins fan since January of '74 and watched the good times and the great teams and getting Marino and making the playoffs damn near every year and being in contention damn near every year and making 2 Super Bowls in the 80s and nothing since. Yeah, we've had some playoff wins, but the last 24 years have been absolute stressful garbage. Turned all my hair white. Matt, you think it's bad? My whole head, my beard, everything, it's all white. It's just, a 25-year-old kid, that poor kid hasn't seen anything.
No, he hasn't seen nothing.
I want to say thank you to, I think 460 of y'all that said happy birthday on my Facebook. My family, friends, everybody said happy birthday. It was a great birthday. Of course, food, family, fun. Everything was great. Obviously, the game wasn't. Let's get into that right now. I'm going to start off with the beginning of the game. I obviously started with the muff punt. That was on Washington. My thought is maybe the wind shifted the ball, maybe. I don't know, but he was out of position by this much. And when he shifted to catch it, I think it went through his arms. But he muffed the punt anyways, and that gave the Green Bay Packers momentum and 7 points to start the game. And away we go. Matt.
Yeah, and that was the thing is even after the muffed punt, we got them down to 3rd and goal on that drive, I believe. Like we were one play away from holding them to a field goal. And excuse me, I got to sneeze.
Are you good?
Okay, it went away. But we had a chance to. I'm like, come on, just hold them to 3 here. Let's just limit the damage, hold them to 3, and then just like anything else, we can't with bend but don't break. Well, we broke on that one, and he gets that little out pass to whoever it was. I don't even remember who it was, Christian Watson or whoever it was. And our DB is just a step behind. So we were this close to just holding them to 3 on that, but right off the rip, we're down 7-0, and we just couldn't get anything going there for a while.
Johnny, what'd you think of that, man?
Yeah,
saw it happen, man.
Well, the defense, 3 and out, make them punt. For whatever reason, Washington stopped moving his feet. I personally think he was trying to look downfield to see if he was going to get hit, and he was too worried about that. If that's the case, throw your arm up, call the fair catch the ball, and that's it. We always talk about special teams and how they can hurt you. And the one thing, Washington can be electric. If he gets the ball in his hands, yes, he's got speed, but Berrios would have just fair caught it and we'd have had the ball, and then it would have been our turn to drive.
I mean, that was the end zone that we were sitting in. The ball wasn't even coming end over end. The wind was howling. The shit was coming in sideways. It was just starting to snow, and you could see the panic immediately when he starts looking up for the ball. Personally, he should have just let the fucking thing go. It would have went to the back of the end zone with how much force and how much wind there was. I mean, it could have died at the 1, but 99.9% of my guess would be that it would have went in the end zone. They should have just let it go. Just a rookie mistake in a bad moment.
Was he right at the 10 or something?
He was at like the 3-yard line, 3 or 4 yard line, and they got the ball.
Let that go. I thought you're supposed to let it go if it's inside the 10.
They had a lot of hang time on it. That's what I mean. Like it wasn't going end over end. The way the ball was coming, like we could see it. And I was like, oh my god, I hope he's not going to field that. And immediately, as soon as it started coming lower and lower, I'm like, please don't field this. Please don't field this. He wasn't even like under it, like a baseball player would get in front of a line drive or a grounder. He was trying to get it from the side and like get it to run with it. So I understand the concept, but in that situation, just get under the fucking thing, bro. Like their gunners were down on him like immediately.
Yeah, you were there. You got to see it live. So
I mean, and it's typical Miami. When one thing bad happens, the snowball starts going and the shit starts sliding downhill immediately.
Yeah, I like y'all's Jumbo hats. You and Jediah's, and y'all sat row 2 on the end zone, and nice pictures, man. Just a great front row view of them coming right towards you. And was you on the side of the muff punt?
It was to the right of us. We're right behind the goalpost. It happened, I would say, on the hash line, in between the hash line and where we were. I would say 7 feet to our right. Like we could see like the whole approach, the whole everything.
So you should have just let it go.
You should just let it go. So yeah, we're in row 2 there, and then Sticky, Keith, Sanchia, Jason, Joy, and Don are on the right-hand side, row 1, right in the corner of the bench, maybe like the 25-yard line or 30-yard line, something like that. The players and coaches could hear them for sure. Like they were like, dude, show some fucking heart. Sticky was a little animated. He was telling us that he was trying to get them hyped. Like they just weren't feeling it. You could see the body language was just not there immediately.
Right. Now let's say hi real quick to Josh Partridge. Good evening, boys. My favorite show. We appreciate that, man. Appreciate that a lot. Ends up. Appreciate you watching. Without people watching, I don't think we'd be doing this, but appreciate it. Keith Lamb. Good evening, guys. Fins up. Now let's get to real quick right after that. The reason we have to explain why they scored 23 points in the first half when we only scored 3. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about there. Let's make it, to me, the defensive tackles that we missed allowed a lot of yards. Their drives, we didn't get no pressure to get to. I don't think we had any sacks in the game against the Green Bay Packers quarterback. Yeah, I don't think we had. I think they pressured Tua a whole lot and got him off his game. And Tua had some crucial throws in the first half and wasn't playing that good in the first half. Go ahead, Matt.
No, you're right. He did have a bunch of I don't want to say a bunch. He had some misfires that kind of stalled drives there for a minute. When you look at his stats, when you look at his numbers at the end of the game, they are what they are. I mean, he was 80%, 365 yards, 2 touchdowns. But early in that game, he did overthrow a couple guys. Very un-Tua-like, really. We're not used to see him overthrowing guys like that. We used to see him, hitting those on the money. But yeah, go back to what you were saying about the defense. I got into a little Facebook argument about this, and everything when the Dolphins lose, it's always Tua. We know that it's only Tua's fault. And I said, well, if the defense could make a tackle, because he was blaming the fact that the defense was on the field too long, he was blaming that on Tua. And I said, well, maybe if the defense could make a tackle, they could get off the field sooner. And so, for example, Next Gen Stats has us at least 20 missed tackles in this game, in which the Packers accumulated 132 yards after the missed tackles, which is a third of their total for the day. So that's why we can't get off the field. That's why the defense can't get a break. It's not necessarily because our offense couldn't do anything. There was a couple drives early in that game where the offense kind of sputtered and we had to punt a ball away. But the defense had chances to get off the field if we just make a tackle. Period.
So real quick before Johnny gets into it. So he had two glaring looking like missed passes, but on the one, not the HN. The HN was super uncharacteristic. I don't understand what happened there. On the Hill kind of ran the wrong route. Like he flattened out, and so he's supposed to go up and over to use that seam in the middle that we love with Waddle, but he kind of flattened out and just rolled it out because he saw that the outside was open. So I think that was more of a miscommunication. And I think if Hill was asked about it, he would admit that he kind of fucked that one up. But either way, I mean, Storm Duck had an awful day. He got picked on heavy. I would have loved to see Kendall Fuller versus these guys because he looked great versus them last year. We're watching even how bad they were. But he matched up really well versus Jordan Reed and Dontario Wicks, who we didn't even get to see much of in this game. My bad. Go ahead, John. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, early on, I thought Tua was trying to overthrow the ball. I mean, that might have been the wind. He was trying to make sure he got it there, and I think he was trying to put a little too much on it. Tom would know better. He was there. He was in the stands. I could only see what the TV was showing, but to me, it looked like he was trying to throw harder because of the wind. 20 missed tackles is unexcusable. I don't care what team you're on. I watched other games this weekend. Guys are making tackles. I mean, Henry gets laid down on his ass by a rookie who made a perfect tackle, wrapped both legs, drove him backwards. That's the stuff we don't see our guys do. They looked cold. Coach McDaniel looked like Humpty with his nose all bright red and freezing. And, that's your leader. And he looks like he's out there. And I heard people that were at the game said that you could physically see McDaniel was shivering and shaking. Damn, bro, if that's the case.
Withdrawn.
Yeah, if that's the case, put some extra long johns on, stuff we can't see. Put some of them hot things in your pockets. Do something. I mean, you're the leader of these men, and you're out there shivering. And yeah, I get it's cold. I hate the cold too. I can't stand it. But damn, warm yourself up. Do something. You got plenty of equipment. They bring how many hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to keep you warm? Use it.
Yeah, this is what I said to Pedro earlier. I was like, dude, he had to hide it better. Like, he was withdrawn from it. He was, like, kind of on his own, especially even when the offense came off the field. He wasn't really animated and involved as much as we see and know him to be. And it's weird. Like, McDaniel, you grew up and were raised in Denver. You played college football at Yale. You coached for Cleveland for Washington. Like, this is nothing new. You make all these corny ass fucking wish it was colder. Bro, show them that you're not. Show them that, you know, there was no spark. There was like zero heart. And then, like you said, John, I think that Tua was the only one like that was actually, him and Campbell were the only two that actually gave a shit in that first half and early on. They both gave their speeches, one inside, one outside the locker room. Tua was trying to warm up. It's like, dude, we're blessed. It's Thanksgiving. Look where we're at. This is nostalgia. This is history. Let's show the fuck up. Like, we're the only ones that are going to be able to do this. They keep beating themselves with stupid fucking, yeah, stupid.
I feel you, man. It's tough.
Just frustrating. Like, even at the end, we're, you know, first and goal from the 1. Okay, the run didn't work. I would have rather seen Alec Ingold, hometown boy, 3 straight times. If you don't get it, you don't get it. What? And then like his first thing, I wish I could have taken that 4th down back. They had cover 0. It was an all-out blitz. Tua didn't even get to his 3rd step of his 5-step drop before he's getting raped. And Armstead had the worst game of his career as a Dolphin. By far, you could tell he was hurt. You could tell that knee, he had no push, no lateral movement, and they were just killing him off the edge.
Yeah, but that's where McDaniels got to see that and give him some help.
I totally agree, wholesomely. You could have used your love affection, big boy Julian Hill, just stand back there, just get in the way. Don't do shit, just get in the way. It is
the 21-day practice window for Bradley Chubb and Cameron Good has opened. So they have 3 weeks to get in there and make something happen. I don't know, maybe too little, too late. The Dolphins, there's a lot of kinds of Dolphins, man. And I know the teams that are always good are up there, like the Buffalo Bills fans are definitely making fun of the lower tier teams, just like the Patriots did when they were up there. Now they're down here, and the Patriots fans, they can't be talking. A lot of Bills fans, every fan talking like, I told you, the Dolphins, this and that. The Dolphins, as far as the national media, we had a chance to quiet the noise. And we absolutely failed at that. And the 2 points that everybody in the country knows about us now is the record of Mike McDaniels beating good teams, playoff teams. Anybody above 500 is only 1 game. And I think maybe I don't know. The Ravens game was so early, that 21-point comeback, but 1-11. And then in cold weather, by golly, I've seen the records go way back, and it's like 5 and 30-something games. It's not a good record at all. South Florida is known for this culture. How do you change the culture? I'll start with Johnny O.
I'm honestly not sure you can change the culture. This goes way back. This isn't just recent. It's not the last 20 years. The Dolphins do not play well in cold weather, never have. Marino has a losing record in the cold. Look it up. It's there. And as good as Marino was, and it's as much as he could throw the ball, when the temperature dropped, Dolphins couldn't win.
He had to do the same thing. Same record. I'd love to look at that. That's a good trivia question. Thank you. We'll have that updated next week, hopefully.
5-42 franchise in cold weather, and 2 for their last 19.
Yeah,
Marino's got one of those 2. I think that's it. Marino's got one, and I think Pennington has one.
I remember. Was it a Steelers win? I remember one Steelers win in the snow.
Or it could have been. I don't know if it was Pennington. It was either Pennington or Fiedler has one of them, and Marino has the other. They only have 2 wins. Like it's crazy.
and the colder it gets, the worse the record gets.
Yep. We just don't have that nasty. We just don't have that nastiness on our team. Like every team has like one of those nastiness guys, and we just don't have it. Like. We really don't, and it sucks. Like, we have leaders on this team, but we dug ourselves so deep that we can't have these hiccup, needing to learn moral victory type games, because then the critics just get louder and louder. I mean, the only thing that critics really can't say is that Tua per se played bad. I mean, he played good in his last 2 cold weather games that he's played. Yeah. Or 3 of 4, really. I mean, he didn't play great in the Kansas City game, but he played great in the December game versus Buffalo. He played in the November game versus Buffalo. Granted, it was like 50 degrees. And then he played good in this game. Like, it's, you know.
That was one of my litmus tests. I wanted to see how Tua is going to play in this cold weather. I mean, obviously, I don't even really count last year's Kansas City playoff game because negative 30 degrees with the wind chill. Nobody should be playing in that anyway. So I literally don't hold that against him at all. So this is a normal cold game. in the 20s with the wind chill, probably in the upper teens or whatever it was, and I thought under the circumstances, at the end of the day, I thought he played pretty well. He was able to, we were still able to move the ball through the air. The one thing that really upsets me is, ever since Austin Jackson's been out, we cannot run the ball.
Brutal.
We can't, under no circumstance can we run the ball with any regularity or consistency. I mean, our leading rusher was Raheem Mostert, who had 5 carries for 19 yards.
I was going to ask, how many rushes do we actually have total? Do you know? I think it was under 10. Maybe
we had
total.
13 carries total. We had 5 from Mostert, 7 from Achane, and 1 Tua got credited for a rush when he just short of the first down marker on his run.
Right,
I mean, that was it. Jalen Wright didn't get a single touch in this game. And you want to talk about goal line packages. We have a guy on our roster who rushed for 18 rushing touchdowns last year. And he's not on the field on 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, or 4th and goal. So this is where I'm talking about Mike McDaniel. Like, I'm starting to lose faith in him in these circumstances, because in a situation where we could have made it a 1-score game at that time, his personnel on 4th and goal, he has Jalen Waddle lined up to the right. He's got Julian Hill. He's got Durham Smythe, Alec Ingold, Devon Achane. He does not have Jonnu Smith.
No Hill and no Jonnu Smith. I literally was screaming, bro.
Jonnu Smith's eaten lunch the last couple weeks. No Tyreek Hill on that particular drive. And no Raheem Mostert, who led the NFL in touchdowns last year and touchdown rushes. So, like, the personnel choices.
Atrocious. I was screaming most of the time that these packages were coming on. Even on key 3rd downs, Hill's on the sideline, Jonnu's on the sideline, Chan's on the sideline. Like, Mike, what are you doing? These other guys aren't scaring anybody. You're not scaring shit with Malik Washington, Durham Smythe, Julian Hill, and Alec Ingold in the backfield. You're just not. You have 21 personnel in the field, and they know that you're not going there. You're going to force it. You're going to get pressured. They're going to go right to 0 and drop back one of the guys in the linebacker and have 3 backers. It's just...
Well, and never mind that on 1st and goal on that particular drive we were talking about, Jonnu Smith was interfered with, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I just wanted to interject that, because on 1st down we threw the ball, and Jonnu he got ran through the back of him early, and obviously we're not going to get that call. But that was the other thing. 10 penalties in this game. Too many self-inflicted wounds.
Yep.
Been
a lot of pre-snap too, which we hadn't seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He had 4 pre-snaps, 2 holds, and 2 false starts in a matter of like 7 minutes a game. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and Mike's got to come up with some kind of jumbo package when we get down that close. You watch other teams, and Buffalo was running the ball in the snow with 6 offensive linemen. They didn't even bother trying to tell you, hey, we're bringing in a receiver. No, they were lining up 6 offensive linemen and said, stop us. And they couldn't.
There's 4 teams that do it, and they do it well. The top 2 are Buffalo and Detroit. They run 6 and 7 lineman packages and double tight end. And then you got big body David Montgomery right up the fucking gut.
Yeah, and we have no jumbo package.
0.
I want to say, go ahead.
Sorry.
It's amazing to me that, you get put in these situations and we know what we expect to see, and then you don't see it out there. Then you watch another game and you say, all right, well, it's snowing really bad. And sure enough, Buffalo's got 6 offensive linemen out there most of the game. And it's like they're running all over. They're doing whatever they want to do.
And Mike's going to revert back. We hadn't seen Mike look super lost on these game plans, and he looked like he made adjustments the last few weeks. We're going to hear Mike. I don't know. I didn't even listen to it. I didn't want to listen to it. We're going to hear Mike say, we need to reevaluate and adjust, and I need to be better in these situations. And literally, he'll say like 3 plays that are like so key and so obvious in the moment. And even after the fact, he's like, oh, yeah, I should have done this. No shit, Mike. The first time, fine. Your hand's in the hot oil. Do you like burning your hand each time and doing the same thing? It's a definition of insanity with this shit.
All right.
Listen, I agree.
Get back to the people real quick. Lou says McNoodle wearing tennis clothes. Keith says the secondary depth is horrible. Need Fuller back ASAP.
Can we get Nick Needham for once? I don't know why we have it on the team. They don't use him for shit.
Yeah.
It's literally
my
useless.
God.
Me and
It's
Shannon were
amazing
talking
to me.
about this. My one sign said free Nick. I don't care. Like if they some people laughed at it and other people are just looking at it shaking their head. But like it's like at this point, I like the idea of using Storm, but this is a key game where your season's on the fucking line. Put some experience back there. Nick and Elijah Campbell are so versatile. Like, and you don't use them at all. At all.
Keith says Coach McDaniels should be on the hot seat, but as long as Grier is running the show, he's not going anywhere.
Look, that's the thing. Okay, so I stole this off of somewhere today. I saw we're approaching a decade of Chris Grier being the general manager, and then so 2016 he became the general manager. I think he became the full-on director of football operations a couple years after that. But at the end of the day, in his tenure, and I stole these, I'm not going to take credit for these. He has made 56 trades since being the general manager, 0 AFC East titles, 2 draft picks forfeited because of tampering. So not a very good track record from Chris Grier. And the thing is, Grier's hit on some picks. Every general manager hits on picks. He's hit on some trades. Tyreek Hill, was a good trade. He's hit on some stuff. But at the end of the day, we're seeing the way this roster is constructed. And it's just, at the end of the day, like at the beginning of the season, we look at the roster and we're like, oh, man, this is such a great roster on paper. And then you get into the games and it's so poorly constructed. We're not physical enough. We get blown off the ball on both sides of the ball in the trenches. We've been saying for years, build the trenches. And they do little to nothing to build the offensive line through the draft or free agency. And then this offseason, Christian Wilkins walks free agency, and I understand why. But luckily, we got Calais Campbell off the couch, because if it wasn't for him, Benito Jones and Deshaun Hand and all these other guys we brought in haven't moved the needle at all. So, like, we are just getting out-physicaled in every single game that we play against better teams. And that's why they're better teams than us, because they are physical. Buffalo's up here when it comes to physicality. We're way down here. We're trying to beat you with speed. We're trying to beat you with creating space on the field, and they're just going to run you over.
Mm-hmm. Johnny, Ty Bless says Tua has become a victim of his own success. He's not perfect, but people point out the one drive where he threw some incompletions and we punt.
Yeah, I mean, listen, every quarterback throws incompletions. Show me a quarterback who goes through the season and doesn't have incompletions or interceptions. Mistakes are made. They're human. Sometimes the incompletion is a throwaway because of pressure or nobody's open. I get that. Tua is, to me, he's not a victim of his success. He's a victim of social media. If social media was around when Dan Marino was playing, just as many people would have been ripping him and tearing him apart and say he throws the ball too much and he's a gunslinger. And, social media has just made it to where you can go on and say whatever you want. You don't have to back it up by facts. You can just go on and say it. Back to your original question about the two guys coming off and getting put on their 21 days. I don't want to see Chubb. Unless we make the playoffs, I don't want to see Chubb. I don't want him to get hurt again. There's no reason for him to play unless we're a lock for the playoffs. I would rather just give him the entire year, let him get healthy, and see if he can play next year, because if he comes in and gets hurt again, he's done for next year, and then we're in the same situation. So I don't even want to see him play.
So Scott Jennings.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
Just real quick on the Chubb thing. So I'm in the same boat, but what I think they're trying to do at this point is they're seeing if he could show any flashes to then possibly move him in the offseason. Because I don't know if anyone's going to take that contract, but they're probably going to cut him post June 1st to save the $29 million for the following season. But they're going to have to eat 25, and you're already eating 25 to have him play this year, to not play this year. That was my only thing on that per se. The Tua thing, it's just kind of insane. If you look at the stats from every other game that had snow or cold weather, I don't think there was more than 20 passes thrown by any quarterback, and we had 46. 37 for 46.
Yeah.
No balance. And in every cold weather game, he gets a bad rap if you go back and look. The Tennessee game, you froze your ass off at, guys. Why is Flores throwing the ball? I think he threw him 36 or 40 times in sleet and rain and refused to run the ball when we had decent backs at the time. Like, I mean, not as good as we have now, but okay backs that were serviceable.
Duke Johnson was, Duke was averaging 5 yards a carry. He was averaging 5 yards a carry early in that game, and they abandoned the run.
But like even like that season where we had Duke save us in a few games, where we beat the Bills in that game, we beat the other ones like that. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Those were just two things I wanted to touch on. We all could point out 1,000,000,001 different little idiosyncrasies. It's just weird that he gets a lot more polarized takes than these other guys. Like, per se, if Herbert played like shit versus the Ravens, they won. Their defense played great, but he hasn't really done much either in regards to winning a big game, beating winning teams. I mean, you can say that about a lot of guys at this point, but it is what it is, you know. Burrow's been shit in the bed lately too. Yeah, he'll have 500 yards, but the team loses. It's like he's having the same thing to Tua, but Burrow doesn't get any of the same shit.
That's where I was going to go on that, because since Cincinnati's the local team here, and it just goes to show you the narrative. You know, here we are. You know, we're 5-7. We're not winning enough games to make the playoffs, and for 5 years now, and it's magnified now, is Tua. We can't win with Tua. That's it. That's it. We can't win with Tua. We need to move on from Tua. It's like, listen, guys, we just signed him to a massive extension. I don't think he's going anywhere, but that's neither here nor there.
It's
that's
like Burrow is going nowhere.
That's
we
the
damn
talk
sure
online.
can't win without him.
Right. We can't. But that's the talk online. But then if you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, now Joe Burrow in the past has gotten to a Super Bowl. He's gotten to an AFC Championship game. I realize that. But this year, Joe Burrow, statistically himself, is putting up MVP-type numbers. The team has only won 4 games, and the 4 games that they have won are to teams that are combined 10-36. So you want to talk about how we only beat up the bottom feeders. They beat the Giants, the Panthers, the
lost to the Pats.
Trying to think. I forget what it was. They've got their 4 wins are against teams with a combined 10 wins. So none of them are saying we need to move off of Joe Burrow, because they're not stupid. They're not idiotic saying, oh, Joe Burrow's the reason we're losing. They know their defense sucks. They know they can't make tackles. And they know that putting up 35 points is not going to be good enough.
Right.
Why do former players like let's
Reggie
see,
Bush.
Chris Brooks, former Dolphin and physical player, ran hard. Who's he play for? He played Greenbay, right? He played good in that game, didn't he? Yeah, I saw him.
He had three carries for 28 yards.
Not too bad.
But I'm
Josh Jacobs absolutely destroyed Terrell Dodson. He had a terrible angle. Literally almost tore his ACL. Who needs to go, Louis?
Louis always like that. He don't like Tua, and he wants everybody fired. He wants to start over. We get it.
But who wants to go? Elaborate. They both need to go. Who's both?
He's probably talking
one.
Grier and Mike.
Was it Grier and Mike, or is it Tua and Mike? Who is it, Louis?
He'll probably say all 3.
Yeah. And then we're starting all over. So,
you know how long that takes, Lou? You want to lose for another 3 years until we get to the point where we're okay, you know? Because when you rebuild, that's what 2019 was. That was a 3-win season.
We're gonna run this back.
We're gonna run this back.
We need to get 2 guys. We need to retain 2 guys, and we need to go focus the trenches. The one thing that Grier, as much as he gets shit the last couple of years, he tried to build up the ends. We had depth at the end and lost a lot of it. The interior, I don't know what the hell he's doing on the interior. He finally got Aaron Brewer, who I like. It's a good cornerstone there. But the ends have been his focus. You see what Chris Grier's done historically. He pays premium positions, a la corner, defensive end, quarterback, and wide receiver. Everything else, they scrape bottom of the barrel. He started to change the trend a little bit with going to paying his tackles. Now you need to pay for a big, beefy guard a la Quentin Nelson-like-esque.
Trey Smith.
That works too. I like that a lot.
So Neil Driscoll, I don't know if anybody follows Neil Driscoll on Twitter, but he put out a scenario where you go out and even if that's the only free agent bombshell you make, you go out and you empty your pocketbooks for Trey Smith, and you right or wrong because we should have drafted him to begin with. He fell in the draft because of some medical concerns, but he's been an absolute stud for Kansas City since day one. And then he had us drafting Kenneth Grant, the big defensive tackle from Michigan in round 1. So now you've got your guard, your franchise guard, and then you go and you draft a big beefy tackle, kind of nose tackle type guy to take up space in the middle. Like that would be just those 2 moves alone right there would go miles towards the toughness of this team.
And that's part of it.
Javon Holland's gone. Javon Holland is gone.
No, he hasn't done himself any favors this year, so he's going to ask for too much. They're letting him go. One of the biggest problems too is we talk about toughness, and a lot of the free agents we get are good players, but they're not tough players. They're coming to Miami because they got off contract. It's nice weather. There's no state taxes. So they're like, hell yeah, I'll come and play. And you're winning some games. You made the playoffs. Yeah, I'll come play there. I don't have to pay state taxes. It's warm weather. My family will enjoy it. No, I'm not a tough guy, but I'm a good player. We need to go out and find those tough guys, those guys with attitude, those guys. Yeah, take a penalty here or there. Look at what Von Miller does for Buffalo. He gets a penalty and nobody bats an eye. Yeah. Why? Because he's going to make up for it in a play or two. When he hammers somebody, and okay, all's forgiven. They're not bitching and complaining about the penalties. Yeah, take a penalty. As long as it's not one that kills a drive or turns the ball over, great, no problem.
Right, but like you're saying, John, sometimes like how basketball, I'll relate it to Duke because that's what I like. But when they're playing like dog shit, and Coach K, who is the most meek and mild-mannered person, gets animated and gets a fucking technical. It sparks them. They need some of that sometimes. Like you're saying, like Wilkins did it stupidly a lot of the time. But that can be so key to show that, dude, wake the fuck up. Who cares? They punch us in the mouth. Punch them the fuck back. We'll take the 15 on the chin and move on. You guys need to get a fire under your ass. And Coach shaking in the corner ain't doing that. We have so many vocal leaders, but you can only do so much to tell someone. And you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Well, how many other NFL coaches you see that are on the sideline that are losing their minds, screaming, yelling, going absolutely nuts, talking to the referees, getting in their ears? You don't see Mike doing any of that.
Because he's got his face buried in his play sheet.
Yep. 17 million seconds to get a fucking playoff.
And that's one of the problems that I'm starting to see from Mike McDaniel. The guy's a brilliant mind when it comes to designing plays. I mean, he is kind of a savant in that category. But we're seeing throughout the league that these play call, unless you're Andy Reid, unless you're somebody like that, some of these guys, I think Kevin Stefanski just handed off his play calling to Ken Dorsey in the last couple weeks because some of these guys just it's too much.
You're just biting off too much that he could chew. You're right. It's spot on. We've been saying it for a while. Dude, you can't do 3 things as a youngish, newer head coach with all this extra responsibility. People want to pluck Darren Bevel badly. He's turned it down the last 2 years to stay. People want to pluck Frank Smith badly. He chose to be with us. Dude, let them fucking help you. They're in your ear. You can see them on the sideline. They're in these offensive huddles. I'm saying, when they come off, Mike was hella withdrawn. I get it. You need to focus on the overall scheme and of the game, the overall picture of the game, but you're not involved. You are, but you aren't. You're there standing in the back of the classroom observing, but you're not being vocal. You're not. Throw your fucking clipboard down. When they fucking get a touchdown, you're all excited. You're like, yeah, I called that. No, dude, get crazy. Do something, show emotion, because your lack of emotion and your blank stare and your pussy shit you're doing is not helping. Then you say the right things after, but dude, just show your players. It would go such a long way. It would go such a long way, dude.
Well, a lot of people are calling the Dolphins soft, and I think it starts with McDaniel.
Fucking were so soft.
But it starts with McDaniel. I mean,
100%.
Listen, I played football growing up. I want to play for a guy with some fire in his belly. I want to play for a coach who's going to, if they think that something is wrong, they're going to go out there and say something. No,
What-
he doesn't. He doesn't need
We're
a
not saying- we're not
15-yard
saying to
penalty,
completely
but open your mouth.
Right. We're not saying he needs to change altogether, but there's moments where we need you to do that. We need you to lift these guys up, Mike. It's the narrative and it's the truth. One bad thing happens and we have a snowman within 5 minutes. That snowball became an avalanche.
Didn't we have a guy who's like a clean freak, a guy picking off garbage from the field, sitting there and on inside the or not? It was what's that show where it shows the preview of the preseason and all that, where they showed Gase. What was it? Gase picking up garbage from the field because he's picking up garbage, man. Ain't they got people doing that for him? Y'all remember that?
He fucking sucks. Talk about a
And,
downgrade. He went to high school offensive coordinator from the NFL.
Yeah, well,
there's a lot of comments we got to catch up on too, boy. Let's start with Farshad, man. The Dolphins made a huge mistake and extended Tyreek and McDaniel, and it's more difficult to move on from them. Shaking my head. I agree. It is a little bit difficult. I know we extended Mike McDaniel, so firing would mean you got to pay him even if you fire him, right? Everybody, you got to pay him.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You got.
He had 2 years left, so this is one of those two, and then 3 years on top of that. Average salary for a head coach right now is between $6 and $10 million. So you're talking about 20 to 30 million just wiping your behind with, and then signing a new coach for around the same or more at this point.
Yeah, because a lot of people are wanting to go out get Mike Vrabel is going to cost every bit of that, if not more.
Oh yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
not going to happen.
The marriage was 3 years. To his contract, Waddle, Hill, and Mike. So that's
Explain
the
the
idea.
longevity thing you were talking to me about, Tom. The reason why you should stay here because a lot of people are saying Grier got to go, Mike McDaniel got to, or combination of one of the three.
I'm like 50-50 on Greer, dude.
I told you, special teams coordinator Crossman's got to be fired. That would be the first move
immediately,
and they can walk Hill right out the door behind him.
But you were saying about longevity, Tom. Tell me what a team has with that is good. What does every Super Bowl team have, playoff team have that makes them so good?
Continuity at the top. Head coach, DC are always the same. OC most of the time is the same. GM is mostly the same. I mean, look at Andy Reid. He had to reinvent himself after 20 years in Philly with all the same guys. And who's their GM? It was his assistant, a 15-year-old kid that he knew growing up, Veach, who's now arguably the best GM in the game for Kansas City. Like, all these good teams have continuity at the top.
You fire helpers, I think. Like, if I'm Santa Claus, I'm going to fire some elves and hire me some new ones, right?
Look, I'm not, like what I was telling you about Pedro. I'm not absolving Grier from his mistakes. I'm not.
Greenbay since 2016, so I mean, and his contract is over with at the end of this season. Is that correct? Is that a fair statement? Is this contract over with this season?
I don't know his contract terms, but at the end of the day,
I think it is. I think I read somewhere where this is his final year. So, like, do they extend them?
For us Dolphins fans, it's always the what if. The what if Marino didn't tear his Achilles. The what if Calais Campbell's helmet doesn't fuck up Tannehill's knee. Like, the what if we win the game versus Buffalo and don't have to play 40 degrees. Like, all of these things. For Grier, I'm so 50-50 on if he should go. Because if you look at, we've had, 7 coaches since Wanstead?
Yeah.
Each one of these coaches want to have their imprint on it. And the GM's job is to get them what they need. But then you have an owner who wants to see a Super Bowl. He wants to see wins. He's 80. He's opened the checkbook. Miami's always done this, and they stopped doing it of late. They go out and they get the flashy, expensive thing that it's good to have, but if the team isn't ready for it, it's not going to work. The Ndamukong Suhs of the world, like, a lot of teams do this. We tried to Band-Aid fix it for like 17 of the last 25 years. And
you talking about the trenches?
Just in general. We try to Band-Aid everything. It doesn't fucking work. Now we're finally trying to do it the right way as best as possible. But now everything's going up money-wise. You have to pay these guys. I mean, he's had some really good picks, but the picks that were really bad were also picks that coaches that he had to deal with wanted the most. Then I'll never forgive Flores for no Ega Mahogany. I'll never forgive him. Jonathan Taylor was there, and Chris Grier wanted Jonathan Taylor badly. Like, as much as people hate on him, he wanted Jonathan Taylor. Now imagine those 3 picks that year. Tua, Austin Jackson, and Jonathan Taylor. Instead, we get Austin Jackson coming off the bone marrow surgery needed a year or two. Now we got a decent right tackle. Tua is becoming into a great player, a good player. Even if people hate him or not, the numbers speak differently regardless.
He's definitely a pocket quarterback because he ain't fast.
And we have
he can't run away from. He can't run away from
dog shit reach at first round for a guy who was a corner, wide receiver, athletic, whatever the hell he was. That Flores, I remember he's fucking pumping his fist and spinning in a goddamn chair. I mean, look, Gink was a bad move not bringing back, but there's definitely more to the story. There was definitely some like bullshit like with Flores. He liked Flores. Flores kind of knew how to use him in different ways. He's like, all right, look, I'm going to try to go there and get the bag and then secure myself my future. Fine. The rest of his picks, though, have been okay. Like, even this year, like, people hated on Chop. Now people like Chop. People hated on Waddle. Waddle's pretty good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he drafted for the future.
So true. I know one year we're like,
guys.
Like, don't we want last year right now? Don't we want to like beat all the bump teams now? Because we ain't even beating the bump teams this season. Let alone
the parallel that I look at is what Detroit's doing right now. You know, what was it? Just 4 years ago, they won 2 games. Yeah. So, and the difference between them and us right now is they've gone out and made trades. They've brought in some premium talent, but the thing that they've done more than us is they've hit on draft picks, and I'm not talking about the first-round pick or the second-round pick. Those are easy to hit on because those are your top premier talent. I'm talking about hitting on Amon-Ra St. Brown in round 5. I'm talking about their starting linebacker, Malcolm Rodriguez, in round 5 or 6. Like, these are the type of hits. Detroit has built their team in the vision of
coach. You think that coach is gonna look? He look like damn He-Man, bro. He look like he could be.
Matt, you know what's crazy? It's perfect you said that.
You know what's crazy? This is tough looking man. You look at him, you like shit. And you put him next to McDaniels. You got this. This is David and Goliath sitting here right in front of us.
You know what's crazy about you said that? Like, the thing that sucks is I really wish that we got to see that last pick that got taken away from us, which was bullshit. Because the Lions did the same thing we did. We got 3 first-rounders, and then we had a free agent. They traded Matt Stafford for Jared Goff and 3 first-rounders. We never got to use that last pick. So with what they got with that, they got Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, Penei Sewell, and Jared Goff. We got Tyreek Hill
and Jameson Williams.
Sorry, yes. That's what I mean. Like that. Well, I said the 3 because that 4th piece, we never got to see that 4th piece. We would have been like a top 15-ish pick, and we didn't get it. And in that pick, the Eagles took Landon Dickinson.
Damn, this is good.
And remember, we've lost draft picks to tampering too.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like that was that's the correlation. Like they built their team from that trade, which completely changed everything for them, and it set them on this trajectory. And they might have overpaid, but they also got to the guys before the market exploded. Like going back to the Bengals, they're fucked with Jamar Chase right now. They're not paying T. Higgins, and it's Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow doing absolutely everything they can for them. And you haven't paid Jamar. He's going to be $36 to $40 million a year.
You know, they
top contract guys. Like look at Dak, $90 million versus the cap. Deshaun, $82 million versus the cap. All these guys don't do shit, and they're getting paid through the roof. It's crazy.
This is awesome.
I digress.
Like talking some NFL lingo that everybody's loving right now. Ain't you loving this, Jody? This is great, man.
Tom's saying he's 50-50 on Grier. I think I'm leaning more 70-30. I'm ready. I think I'm ready for just a different vision of roster construction. I mean, you have to factor in. Okay, let's say we're keeping Mike McDaniels, so you have to factor in. You're still trying to supply him with the type of players he needs to run his offense.
The new GM could fire. Sorry, Matt, but the new GM, wouldn't he be able to fire Mike McDaniels right when he's hired if he don't want him?
Because
there's too much money involved.
There's too much money, and Ross is not going to hire somebody that he knows is going to walk in the door and fire McDaniels.
Right.
So you got to hire somebody that's going to work with Mike McDaniels. Is what we're saying is going to happen if Grier's gone. Okay.
I want to see Grier. I want to see Grier get Weaver once for once. You know what I mean, Matt? Like he went and got what McDaniel wanted and visioned on the offense in the future. I want to see what he's got for Weaver. So that's why I want to see one more year.
Right. I mean, I can understand that.
Because we're like, if Tua didn't go down the 5 games and he played those 5 games, it'd be different. We should be 7-5 like the Broncos. Sorry, Matt.
No, you're right. I mean, I blame all of this is to blame on one guy, and that's Tua. for putting his head into the chest of DeMar Hamlin. If he doesn't do that, again, he doesn't miss 4 games. And like you said, I'd say worst case scenario right now, we're 7-5.
Look, Lou, we're hating on Tua. See, Lou.
But I also blame
not perfect.
I blame Mike for that, bro.
Everybody was so Tua thinks he's perfect. He's gonna make mistakes. We call him out, baby. My bad.
But that's Mike. Mike sold them on Skyler can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it is their fault for believing in that bullshit and not their eyes, but they believe the fact, oh, well, we can cut the corner and save a little bit of money and keep it in-house. And this guy's been here for 3 years, and Mike blows him on the regular, and he thinks he's super talented and the potential's there. So let me take this extra $3 million instead of giving it to, per se, Andy Dalton or someone like that, and give it to Jordan fucking Poyer. Uselessness.
But what,
and that's part of the problem is you're saying that, the upper office listened to McDaniels saying Skyler could do it. Bro, we all knew Skyler couldn't do it. Yeah. Could he be a good quarterback in the right system? Absolutely.
He wanted Skyler to start over too.
I'm just saying he needs to choose his battles. Like before when we had issues in the front office where 2016, it was a unified, well, it should have been a unified front of 3 guys, the VP, the executive, and the GM, working with the other 3 guys, the head coach, the OC, and the DC. And right now it just seems it's, all right, well, let's try to make this guy happy and get a team he wants and see what happens. Instead of like a cohesive something. And then this year seemed more of a cohesive thought. Let's get depth and let's get young guys for the future that can help because we have aging this, that, and the third. We have guys hurt. So that's what I mean. I'm so 50-50 on it. It's like he's done a lot of good. He's done a lot of bad, but so many GMs have done the same thing, if not. You know what I mean? Who would you replace him with? That is the only person I would agree with.
Here. Keith Davis wants to answer that because he says, why can't we get a decent backup quarterback? And that's a thing that I didn't like about Grier either. Like, you didn't expect none of this to happen this whole season. Your jobs are on the line, and you bring a guy out that 3 points. 3 points! 10
1
points
touchdown
a game.
and 9 starts.
For 5 games, are you out of your mind? Like, Tua can blow that out of the water. Every single game he's going to be doing that. And look, for all you that say he didn't play a game, look at Jameis Winston. That man threw 490-something yards for the Browns, broke their passing record in a game, and still lost. Why?
Hint, he's a free agent. I wouldn't mind that as a backup.
I said that last night. I would take him as a backup. He's a good, viable backup.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's great for the locker room.
You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting with him. Yeah. He's a feisty, fiery guy. He's a competitor.
Well, him and Tua have fun.
Last night you saw all of Jameis Winston. You saw the arm talent. You saw the competitiveness, but you also saw the boneheaded throws that he tends to make, and it cost him the game. Now, 497 yards and 4 touchdowns, you would normally win you a game. But when you add two pick sixes in there, that's a problem. But I would take that.
We were all Browns fans until that second
go back.
Six,
he has this one thing a lot of people don't have on our team. He's got heart.
Absolutely.
Let's go back in a time machine. Find me a DeLorean. Find me a DeLorean. I'm going back in time. We're going to sign Jameis Winston, and we know. Let's just say we know Tua gets hurt in week 2 against Buffalo. Let's say that's already a given. But at least I went back in the DeLorean and we signed Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston could come in and at least score more than 10 points a game against the Colts, against the
Seahawks. 3 fucking points.
I mean, come on, man.
We would have split regardless. No matter what, we would have split with a chance to win 3.
Oh, look.
Yeah. And Matt, if you got the DeLorean, go talk to Tua. Tell him to dive to his left head first and not to it into Hamlin's chest.
That's true, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Brad is obviously upset. He wants to clean house. I get it. There's fans out there that, like Lou and Brad, they want to clean house. That's understandable on their point.
You can't do everything. You can't eat all that money.
Starting over means starting at another coach, another everything, another 3-win season next year, another 6-win season.
It's like try to see what we have at least or restart all over again because that's where we're trying to.
Yeah, he's right, Brad. Two cold weather games to end the season.
At
the Browns and at the Jets, understandable. That is where we all are like the media and everybody else. Stats say we can't do it. So, and history, not only stats, history. I'm assuming because history is befalling us.
But I also want to look at these numbers for a lot of these other teams like that also don't play well, but it almost gets like overlooked because their record. It doesn't matter at the end of the year. Like, you know what I mean? The Jets struggle. I mean, the Bills struggle versus the Jets every year. You know what I mean? Like some of these other. It is what it is.
Well, look at San Francisco and Buffalo.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like these other teams that, like, you know, typically are so good, play like dog shit, and it's just like, just a bad game.
I know that. I don't like the way the Dolphins interview because, like I said, they don't want to say what they want to say. But who wants this question right here from David? That's a good question.
Hey, listen, we got plenty of guys on the team that played college in cold weather games. That's got nothing to do with it.
Terrible.
You get down to Miami, you get used to the warm weather, your blood thins out. So now when you go back to the cold weather games, it feels colder. When you live in the cold, Matt will attest to it. Tom will attest to it. We all live in cold weather. Now you're not cold weather like we are.
It's 35 right now. The high was 35 here today.
And how much moisture do you have there?
Moisture, none.
Yeah, Tom and I in New Jersey, bro. Not only is it cold
yesterday,
but you have moisture. But you have moisture in the air. You go outside, it goes right into your bones.
But
that's how cold it is.
Go early to these places.
It's cold as cold, man.
Climatize. Like,
cold, you know?
Look, it was like Green Bay was cold. Look, I'm from Northeast.
I mean, 38 in the sun is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. 38 in the sun.
Think about it. I left my house. It was 32 degrees. I got to Green Bay. It was 27. I didn't feel much of a difference. I felt fine. The game was 22 degrees, and it felt like
windy.
7.
I'm sorry. It depends on wind conditions, okay?
The wind made it cold in the fourth quarter. It felt like 3 degrees. But in the first quarter, it really wasn't that bad. Like,
my van broke down.
Going, they just came out soft,
I stayed in the van because it was cold outside.
Flat.
Yeah, but when you live on the East Coast, you got cold and you got moisture.
I'll blame it on 210 pounds with only maybe, I'm going to say maybe 9% if I do a little chuck test on the side or whatever. You know, a little thing where you test the skin or whatever. There ain't no fat, bro. We're talking like, less than 10%. Bro, I'm not built. My doctor said in any kind of apocalypse, I'm gone first. I was like, why? I got no fat reserves, man. Come on now. That's messed up.
I'll be around for a while then.
I got some news, and then we'll do a Finn's trivia question we ain't got to yet. We are still getting to your comments, people. We are paying attention, man. We just get scattered sometimes. We're going to keep up with y'all. We're right back to y'all right now. Right now, Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner's status for Sunday's game is currently in question. He is dealing with a hamstring injury, but I'm sure he'll go if it's up against the Dolphins, you know, if he can, you know, if he gets cleared. I also want to say, not only it was my birthday on Thanksgiving, it's OJ McDuffie's birthday. Happy birthday, OJ McDuffie. We love you. And you're a cool guy, man, you know. So, Tyler Huntley will be Tua's backup versus the Jets per Mike McDaniels. We already talked about Bradley Chubb and Cameron Good. There's optimism. Ooh. Kendall Fuller will return to play this week versus the Jets per the coach himself, Mike McDaniels. Not bad, huh? Finn's trivia question. Brad says, got to play in cold. I get it, man. Here we go. Shane Andrews, man. Yeah, I know. Like I said, we know the two supporters and doubters, man. I get it, man. It's all good. We are not going anywhere to as our quarterback bottom line. History will say if you're correct or not, Shane, but Tua's got his extension. There's nothing to do about it, man. You know, he's got to keep playing. You just handed him all this money, and you're just going to say, no, we're just going to start with a rookie again and, you know, start over again with 3 wins, and then what are you going to say after that? That's the tough part.
So my question to all these people that want to get rid of him. So, A, who's bringing in, and B, we're not
never get an answer.
Away.
You know, they just want to move on, but they don't know how, you know?
If you think we're only a quarterback away, then are you ignoring the glaring issues that we just saw on Thanksgiving? 22 missed tackles, two of the worst safeties in the league rating-wise. We have one edge rusher who's a rookie who's trying to carry the team. The guy we picked up off the street, Tyus Bowers, hurt. How many other positions we need? We need guard, both guards. We need a tackle potentially. We need to re-sign.
We're always needing something. It's like a puzzle piece, man. It's crazy. I would never want to be a GM never would want to
mean,
take over this.
Think about it. Like all these
people
people,
have an opinion, but my goodness,
let's tank
hard.
and draft Cam Ward. Okay, so we get Cam Ward. Then what?
Yeah.
Then what?
Who's
Please
going to
give me
protect him?
the next steps.
You got to build a team around the quarterback you got. If you got a pocket quarterback, build around him. If you got a running option kind of quarterback, I mean, with mobility,
Think about the way that's
the
answer I want. The way that we have the roster right now with the funds we have.
I said something. I really said the right answer. Really?
Yeah, dude. Like, think about it. Like, I understand the frustration, but with what we have and with where we're at, what else? You put a quarterback on the team, fine. Put Pat Mahomes on the team.
You got to be able to do something else, and that's the problem with the Green Bay game. Like,
that's the thing. That's the thing with anybody
a second and goal. My bad. Go ahead, Matt.
Anybody that is wanting to move on from Tua, look, you have your opinion. I respect that, but you can't just move. Like, you have to look. You have to look at salary cap. You have to look at contracts. You have to look at possible draft pick compensation to draft a new guy. Or free agency, and who are you going to sign?
Right?
There's all these different possibilities and all these different logistics that go into moving off of a quarterback after you just sign him to a huge extension. It's just not feasible. So you can say we need to move off of him. We're never going to win. We average 10 points a game without him, guys.
Yeah.
Is it the same for Tyreek?
He's pretty important to this
Brad is saying, I am for Tyreek being gone. He's
but
contract. Well,
that's not happening either. Nobody is picking up that contract. Nobody is picking up Tyreek's contract. It's not happening.
It's not happening.
Definitely not at this point.
Go ahead, Johnny.
It just, those kind of things, I respect people's opinions, but like Matt said, you have to look into it. Who out there is going to pick up Tyreek's contract?
In its current state, no one.
Exactly.
But even if you keep him, you think that the only need is quarterback? That's the thing I don't understand. Like, people bitch about every single little idiosyncrasy that is always to it.
I know that. We need a backup quarterback.
Well, that's a fact. But, like, there's so many other needs. We have holes across the board. That's why
didn't the coaches know that before the season started? Is the question, man? That is
if you go back and look,
you got rid of Matt White to say this is your guy, and he shows up and puts 3 points. 3 points, bro.
Pedro, if you go back and look, we were actually talking before the season started that we had some decent depth at certain positions.
Well, we thought we did.
We thought we did.
We lost him.
Hey, that's why we got opinions, man. And like I said, I wouldn't want to have their jobs, man. It's so hard to be a general manager. Like, I mean, we're talking about Deion Jordan. I mean, Grier was a scouting thing or something. I know he was involved, man. And he's been here before 2016 as a GM, man. Dolphins, y'all got to know he's been here
so
since
Jordan,
we last won a playoff game. Since
Adam Gase was our head coach then for Deion Jordan.
And
Matt Burke.
Yep.
So Gase and Burke absolutely love Deion Jordan. They love it's the same style. Think about it. You can pick one player from each. You could pick one player from each one of these bad draft busts, and you could see. Look, no Igga Mahogany. Flores loved him. Burke and Gase absolutely loved Deion Jordan. Like,
so you're saying the coach has to work together with the GM to make people understand. Like, you can't just say fire this guy or get rid of it. This has to go through GMs, owners, and coaches, right?
Yeah, that has to be a happy all three. This is why I wish that Grier kind of would say fuck it and just pick who he thinks the team needs based on the way the team is built. Like, and just be like, look, Mike, you're gonna have to trust me on this one, bro. You're gonna have to trust me.
Who gave the last word on Tua? Is that the owner who wanted Tua? Who gives the last word on the first round pick like that, like a Tua, like a first round or top
the owner could sit there and get the last word on every pick if he wants to. He owns the team.
Let the GM do his thing.
That was definitely
was a Grier pick, or was he like it wasn't a McDaniels pick, obviously. That was I heard that Flores didn't want Tua, right?
Yeah, Ross and Grier both wanted Tua. Flores wanted to like either take someone else or trade back and get Jordan Love in the end of the first if he could.
Man, boy, he was pretty much on it. Another question.
Also wanted Deshaun Watson. He ran on that one.
Now, see, I understand what you're saying, Pedro, about Jordan Love, but Jordan Love also sat there for 4 years and didn't play.
Behind first ballot Hall of Fame, 4-time MVP.
4 years to learn. That's like Mahomes sat one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like 12 games before. And he had Alex Smith, who's a great teacher. But look at the Packers historically. They do the same thing, bro. Brett Favre had Aaron Rodgers, or Aaron Rodgers had Brett Favre for 4 years.
Yep.
Bro, after what I saw with Winston, that is a good backup, man. If he is a free agent, like that would be him and Tua would have so much fun because, like, I know he's a Christian man and he's, religious and stuff like that, and it's cool, man. Everybody's got their religion, and a lot of that
I think the thing about it currently, I think that this is the first time in the Tua era that we actually have a okay quarterback room, starter and backup for the first time, and God knows how long, honestly. I mean, granted, Huntley's not fantastic, but it's better than Tua and Skyler, Tua and Jacoby Brissett, Tua and fucking who the hell we had for one quarter? Tim Boyle, like
Bridgewater, and
oh god,
could we lose Weaver to a head coaching job? Is what Scott Jennings is asking. Who wants to take that?
Actually, we could lose him, Bevel, and Frank Smith. Any one of the three or all three, eventually.
Anthony Weaver's not getting a head coaching job until his players can tackle. I mean, let's just start right there.
Yeah, hey,
real quick, I want to hit on the Jordan Love thing. We said they drafted him at the end of the first round in 2020, the same year that Tua got drafted 5th overall. And he didn't play until last year, the first year Aaron Rodgers was gone. Okay, and this isn't a strategy that a lot of teams, like, for example, the Joe Burrows, the Justin Herberts, these teams, they draft young quarterbacks and they want them to play as soon as possible because the window of opportunity to have a quarterback on a rookie contract means you can pay other skill positions, other linemen. The Packers do it differently. They draft a quarterback, have them sit, learn from, and it's a luxury you can have when you have Hall of Fame quarterbacks ahead of them. Obviously, we don't have that luxury, but they're able to kind of meld the quarterback into what they need to be for that system before they play. And then he played 1 year, put up great numbers. He gets a huge extension after he played 1 year. Most teams try to get that rookie contract and try, the Houston Texans, for example, they got CJ Stroud on the cheap right now, and they're trying to go all in. This is their window.
Paid everybody else.
Have the Houston Texans, have they won a playoff game recently?
Last year. Last year.
Okay. All right, gotcha. After the Tunzel trade, and that is just tough, man. Sorry, Matt. Go back to what you were saying, but
no, I mean,
to piggyback, Matt. Think about it though. They also had a huge decision to make after year 4 of sitting on the bench with 0 PT, but a few dog shit garbage time snaps and wins or losses. They declined his $23.5 million option, and they had to come back to the table. They didn't not have faith, but optically, that looks terrible to your quarterback. Sign him to a 1 year, $12.5 million, and they go on a run. Then he comes back with the same agent, David Metalata, same agent that Tua has, and they're known to go out and get the bag, and they almost have identical deals. Tua signed first, Love signed right after for a little bit more. It's a copycat league. Look at all the deals when they start happening. Hurts got his bag, then Herbert, then Burrow, then this one, and then for us, Lawrence, and then Tua. It is what it is.
Let's go real quick. My birthday.
Hit it with a trivia,
my sister got me this right here. This Fan Cave little 3D sign. Thank you so much to my sister. My mom got me this Tennessee in the dolphin color, and she got the long sleeve shirt I'm underneath. And I'm wearing Cruz's It's Okay to Be Different autism hoodie that a lot of people like. To me, it's dope as hell, man. I'll rep this anywhere.
Yo, we called you, right? We called you, right? I kind of remember. We called you, right? For your birthday?
Yeah, man.
Right,
so Tom's sitting there, and he's at the party at Greenbay, and mind you, he's on FaceTime, and he's like, "Hey, happy birthday!" And he starts like going to each person, say, "Hey, it's Pato's birthday! Hey, it's Pato's birthday!" And it was cool because I got to see a close view of the layout of Keith and Finn Sticky and Tom O'Gara, my boy Jediah, man. You guys had a blast. I love your picture of you guys doing a selfie with the craziest part
about that call.
So,
hey, the dads and your mom and your whole family were just like, "Oh shit!" And then they started talking Spanish to each other. Do you remember that? Like right before we hung up, I was like, "This is crazy." They were dressed up in like full mariachi suits with the Day of the Dead paint, and they were going off, and it just happened to be that, like, you're like, oh, my whole family, and then they were just going back and forth. I was like, slow down, I know what the fuck you're saying. But it was cool.
Oh yeah, we were family, brothers, sisters. Yeah, we talk Spanglish, so we switched from Spanish to English very quickly. Like the fastest language to me is Puerto Ricans. They got us beat. You think I talk fast?
So quick, dude.
Hang out with some Puerto Ricans, you'd be like, "Holy moly!"
It's like the Billy Madison. Slow down.
I know about. I've lost about living here, being a Cubilly, because I got Americanized. I lost about 30% of Spanish language, so I can't even keep up with a soap opera. They speak so fast, I miss every other word. And I'm like, I don't know, my brain can't keep up with this damn ADHD, but that's all right. Anyways, Fizz Trivia, man, this is a great show today. I know we got off the point for the Dolphins in the first half. We're gonna get to the second half. We're gonna get to your Finn's question. This is a quick one with Dan Campbell. I know that my man Tom can. No, actually, Johnny, bro. Come on now. Everybody knows this, man. Answer. Go ahead. Answer for Josh. He goes, we should have never got rid of Dan Campbell.
That's so easy to say. But Dan Campbell was not proven at the time. Dan Campbell back then is not the Dan Campbell of today. We would have gone through 3 or 4 years of him learning, just like when he got to Detroit. Dan Campbell 4 years ago in Detroit is not what he is now. He has built a team. He has built a reputation as a coach. So to say that, to me, that drives me nuts, because he was an interim head coach. They decided not to sign him as the head coach. And if they did, he'd have gone through his growing pains here, just like he did in Detroit. Maybe in 3 or 4 years, we could have been contenders and been in a better spot than we are, but that's not proven. Let's see what happens if they do fire McDaniel and he goes somewhere else as an offensive coordinator, maybe gets in the playoffs, wins a Super Bowl, and then somebody else gives him another head coaching job, and he wins a Super Bowl there. Then you're all going to be bitching, oh, we should have kept McDaniel.
Yeah, the way it works, don't it, man? Hey, so is that waterproof, Tom?
What?
Waterproof? Nick's the hoodie you got, or whatever that was, that rain jacket.
It's just like a hoodie. I don't know. It's pretty warm though, honestly. All my winter clothes are actually in the mail.
Looks good.
I don't know. Thank you. All my winter shit is in the mail because I wrapped my chain in it and I mailed it. So I literally have no winter coat, no Under Armours, no long sleeve, no jeans, nothing. It's all in the mail, and it was supposed to come today, and of course it didn't. The mini helmets and shit, the extra shit, the big hat came in the mail today. In the bigger box, they mailed at the same exact time, did not come.
Wow.
The other thing, real quick before you start the trivia. So Dan Campbell was almost fired from Detroit, to be honest with you. People were not happy immediately. He was making some bonehead mistakes because, like we said, he wasn't ready. Stafford was like, oh, we're wasting the last good years of Stafford. We're getting him hurt. We're not doing this, blah, blah, blah. They make the trade. They get the picks. They get Sewell. They get St. Brown. They get Jameson Williams. And the trajectory has continued. Like, he took his lumps. They took their lumps. It's his coaching style. That's why people like him and relate to him so much. He's a come-from-nothing type guy.
And you look at him, and he's a bad-looking dude. Like, damn, man, that's Hercules, man. That dude is a former
player. He was never a great player, but he always gave his heart. He reminded me of like a Fasano type guy, who never really got the credit he deserved. Who he bite their knees, bite their ankles, like his fire. That's what people like. But he's relatable. He's your all-American guy who worked his ass off to get what he has, and his mantra to his guys is the same thing. And you see it from his players. Another guy, real quick, last thing, sorry, is Aaron Glenn might get a head coaching job before Anthony Weaver. To be honest with you, what he's done with that secondary has been unbelievable, and it's interchangeable. They lose somebody, another guy pops up. Brian Branch made him the best player of the draft 2 years ago. But go ahead, Pedro. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, Johnny. Granted, Grier has hit on a number of draft picks, but he sucks at retaining quality draft picks. Hunt and Wilkins, most recent examples. He doesn't get out ahead of the market. And David knows what he's a Dolphin. He knows what he's talking about,
would
too.
You rather
in contracts and puts up in cap space hell, but
well, number one, there's no such thing as cap space hell. I hate when people say that. The cap goes up every year. You get more money. You make the cuts. You get rid of guys you don't need. You save money. There's really cap space hell unless you're certain organizations. Miami is not in cap space hell. The second part of that I will agree with. If he would get out in front of contracts, guys before their 4th or 5th year and sign them, he could get them cheaper and retain them longer.
Wilkins.
But if you remember, Wilkins' first year, people were calling him a bust. They thought he was garbage. He got better every year. They didn't sign him. He bet on himself, and he signed for a huge bag. You can't blame a guy for that. Should we have signed him after year 4? Absolutely.
He turned down the money both times.
Right.
Same with Hunt. You got to think Hunt wasn't a first-round pick, and that's why we're going to lose.
I don't want to keep
He's not a first-round pick, and he wants to get the biggest bag he can. Look, guys,
still
like
not worth the money they paid. Like,
no,
they still overpaid for us, right?
Super small school. Wilkins went to see. The game is different, and it's now evolving with this NIL shit. Like, if these guys at the bigger schools, Wilkins would have got paid, and Hunt wouldn't have got paid. Like being Raging Cajun. Like
why didn't we keep Hunt though? We
$20 million.
I understand Wilkins. I mean, god dang. I mean, like I said, I mean, whoa, like the Raiders, man. I mean, and he's hurt. I mean, he got hurt, and we were like, wow, that's a tough,
Matt, do you remember who we couldn't think of? It's
like
Kuntz.
Chubb. We're paying for Chubb right now. Go ahead, Tom.
Kuntz is their other DM we couldn't think of. Kuntz, Wilkins, and Max were the 3 guys. They actually have another guy they drafted this year that's been playing in Kuntz because he got hurt early, and his place has been pretty good. But whatever.
Ooh, Matt Farah. I mean, Matt Mahaffey. Why is it Matt Farah? Matt Mahaffey, man. Joff Partridge wants to know if is Marino ready to be GM? There's 2 questions on that point.
No, Marino's worried about getting his next year in.
Marino GM.
No,
Marino's there for show, dude. He's there to drink and be there for show.
That's exactly right. I don't know how much he actually does
hit rock bottom
office.
That bad?
He's just some sort of special advisor or something. I don't even know what his position is, but
he's there to be like the legend. Like, when guys come to visit, it's Dan Marino. Holy shit!
It's definitely not in a evaluation of talent position. That's for sure.
All right.
He can evaluate some whiskey for you, but he ain't evaluating talent.
I wouldn't mind Zach in the front office because I feel like, I wouldn't mind Zach in the front office. I think he wants to be involved in some way, shape, or form in the game, but I think it's going to take a couple more years for his kids to get a little older.
How do we fix the O-line? I mean, first of all, is this Armstead's last year of his contract this season?
It's the last year of his guaranteed money. He's got 1 more year after this.
All right,
so 2020 to a 5-year deal, right?
Like who would you get rid of, and who, like, if you were trying to build an O-line, like who's the worst 2? Like, you got to get rid of. Like,
we need 2 guards badly.
We talked about it with Trace. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Trey Smith, Kansas City starting right guard. He's a free agent after this year. He would be a good get at right guard. Eichenberg's out. He's the free agent after this year. Boom's gone. So then Armstead, if Armstead wants to come back another year, if he's healthy, I would have him back in a heartbeat. But we in theory drafted his replacement this year with Patrick Paul. So Patrick Paul could take over at left tackle. So in my opinion, you sign Trey Smith and you draft another guard to start at left guard. So you have Armstead or Paul, drafted left guard, Aaron Brewer at center, Trey Smith or comparable free agent at right guard, and then you have Austin Jackson at right tackle. And now you're ready to roll.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
we signed Brewer to what, 3-year deal?
Why is Grier not doing it?
We got 2 more years of him and 1 more year of Jackson, or 2 more years of him, 2 more years of Jackson immediately, without anything else.
Now, what's wrong with the defensive tackle? Why can't we stop the run and other teams can stop the run on us? Like what? Like, I mean, Zach Sealer was out there. I seen him do a couple good plays in that game, but how many yards did the Green Bay Packers rush on us in the game? You got that in front of you, Matt, or no? I got my phone. I can look it up.
I mean, one problem that a lot of teams do is safety help in the box.
How many yards they got?
We signed Jordan Poyer because think about it. Jordan Poyer's strength is to be helping. We signed him because he helps in the run game, and Javon hasn't been good in the run game his entire career. He's supposed to be the center fielder guy, your hybrid, move around, do whatever you need to do. But when you don't have a thumper at linebacker, you're a revolving door at linebacker, and then you don't have any help from the safety over top, you're gonna lack in the run, especially when Sealer was out.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I'm looking at, as far as the run game, real quick,
114 yards.
We switched with Anthony Weaver. We switched over to a 3-4 defense this year. So we have Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell are essentially 3-4 defensive ends. So that means we have a nose tackle in the middle. We have Benito Jones starting. We have Deshaun Hand rotating in. These are guys that are rotational players at best, and they're thrust into the starting job with Christian Wilkins being gone. So we need to plug that hole. If we're gonna keep running a 3-4, and that's with Chop Robinson and Jalen Phillips when he returns as 3-4 outside linebackers. Great.
You know he's a beast at that. Go ahead.
So we need a better gap filler in the middle.
You know what I want?
That's where Kenneth Grant comes in.
I like
build the trenches, right? The first 2 rounds, what you're saying. First 2 rounds, build the trenches.
I like Mason Graham, but he's probably gonna be gone. Perfect, dude.
He's top 5 pick.
Oh, easy, but like he'd be so perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But Kenneth Grant, I think he's listed at like 6'3", 335 or something like that.
I also like the kid from Tennessee, but he's more of an edge rusher. But you could make him a linebacker, number 27. He's a senior this year. He's looking at like 15 to 25 range for picks. He might be there. You might have the kid from Florida State, even though they sucked. They have a few decent pieces here or there. It is what it is. We're all shooting fucking fish in a barrel at this point.
I knew.
Scott Jenny says he likes John Lynch.
He had his bumps and bruises. Yeah. I mean, look at the trade he made for Trey Lance.
Why? Did he get fired, or is he still there? Like, is he available?
He's not going anywhere anytime soon. They just signed a 5-year extension last year.
It's just a comment. All right.
But I do like him as well. But he had his bumps and bruises. Like, he's had mistakes. Like, it's just more polarized on our mistakes because we haven't won a playoff game in 20 years.
Lou. Oh, Lou. Oh shit. Lou can't wait for us to play the last 2 games of the year. Hey, Lou, let me tell you, bro, what I'm telling these guys, my boys, man. Lou, Tua's going to win the next 3 games, bro, in warm weather. He's going to go and beat the Jets at home. He's going to go up there in Texans, bro, and beat them. And he's going to win the 49ers at home, right? We play at home, right? That's a win.
All right, Lou, well, let's flip the coin. Say Tua's got fucking
James Winston numbers and no turnovers. That's the one where Lou's waiting for because 1 loss, and he's right. He's like, oh, let's start over. We didn't have a bad season. Bro, let's run it back in a full year,
but
bro.
Think about it.
Pedro,
think about it. Again. Say that we have 497 yards like Jameis did with no picks from Tua, and we lose the game.
Oh, my God,
Is it Tua's fault? Like, Tua left the field with the lead in 2 of these 3 games, or 2 of the last 4 games. He left the lead with the Cardinals. He left the lead with the Bills. Like, you say he played like shit, he can't be good teams, but he left the field with the lead with less than 2 minutes left in both fucking games, just about. Is that his fault? Like, he made some mistakes earlier in the game, but when you needed it the most on 3rd down, since he's been back, he's like literally it's him and Pat Mahomes are the 2 best quarterbacks on 3rd down. And he's not creating with his legs as much as Pat Mahomes is. He's making smart fucking decisions and reading the field. The thing that people said he can't do. He's a 1-read quarterback. If it's not there, Tyreek's not there. Tyreek's like a 3rd option on this team right now. It's kind of wild, but all of these narratives keep getting killed, and he keeps getting fucking destroyed with new ones. It's asinine.
Well, to me,
listen, Tua didn't miss 22 tackles on Thursday. Tua didn't muffle punt on Thursday.
And Tua hated the fucking goal line stand calls. He wanted to run the ball.
That's what I'm saying. We got to talk about that goal line. Like, that's where I had to leave, man. That's where, like, every Dolphin – I mean, most Dolphins use over with the halftime. I mean, 24-3, come on. But I'm one of those optimists.
Mike again.
And I said, I'm not leaving until I know.
Why is Mike doing – this is the 3rd time this year that he's called timeout to give the other team more time to get their last drive. I don't fucking get it.
Do you know what the plays were? I'd like to find out that play-by-play on that. What we call. What happened? I got it right here.
First was a dive.
What was that? The second in the – well, not the second half. Okay, second half, what was that? Or before the touchdown. There it is. The
3rd and 4th down.
Downs. There we go. 75 yards on downs. I got it right here. Oh, shit. Here we go. Let's look at these last plays that fucked us up. 2nd and goal at the 1.
2 screens.
Devon Achane, right tackle to the Green Bay 1 for no gain. That was the 2nd and goal at the 1. So Achane didn't get in. So he should have done his job. He should have got in. What the hell? Is that the O-line? Now freaking leaving a hole for him? No gap?
Rashawn Gary was in the backfield before he even had the fucking ball.
Oh, man. Tom, was that coming to you or was that on the other side of the field? Was that on your side?
I could see it. They were going the other way.
It was on the other side. It was on the opposite side of you, right?
2nd down, Rashawn Gary.
Ah, shit, you're cutting in and out.
He was in the backfield before Tua even handed the ball off. And HN was actually in the wrong spot
You're
for the
cutting
ball.
it out, bro.
He was in the B gap, but he should have been the A gap. And then it was a screen and a screen. There's supposed to be both screens on 3rd and 4th down.
Yeah,
that's why
third down was to Jonnu Smith.
Rashawn Gary was in the backfield before. Middle screen never worked on that play.
Sacked on that last play.
4th down was supposed to be a screen to a wide receiver on the right side of the field, and he couldn't even get out of the fucking steps.
Offensive holding on Eichenberg on that 4th down, anyways. That fucking sucks,
on the best look of the entire 4 plays. Eichenberg had the hold. You had the defense where you wanted. You had cover 2. The middle was going to open up. We were going to do that left play and then dump it to the right to Jonnu, and he fucked up again.
What down was it when we ran with Devon Achane? Was that on 2nd down?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all week long,
to be honest with you,
I listened to Kyle Krabs, Locked On Dolphins podcast. All week long, he kept talking about Austin Jackson being out and Liam Eichenberg's struggles, that if we're going to be effective running the football, we need to start running to the left. We need to get in behind Rob Jones, Aaron Brewer pulling to the left, Teron Armstead.
Right.
But we keep going to the right, and
Kendall Lamb, that's his weakness, bro. Kendall Lamb's a great pass blocker. He's atrocious in the run, and he doesn't get out to the second level, so it completely shits the bed. And the worst part is, your runs to the right, who's your lead blocker in motion? The most useless first useless fucking guy on the team. Julian Hill was literally your lead blocker to get to the second level. Motherfucker couldn't even get on the outside of the tackle.
Where's our lead blocker at? He wasn't in the play?
He was your lead blocker, and he fucking couldn't even get out to the second, couldn't get off the first block. Trash.
Yeah, that was terrible. I mean, I think that's what made that kid make that video, was that exact 4th down play where he was like, why did I choose to be a Dolphin? Listen to me, Dolphins that are 25 or younger, bro, you're probably gonna go through the same thing we did. I know it's different because we had Marino and we had a couple playoff and some nice little times in the early 80s, and then because Marino played during childhood and my teenage years. It was up and down, but we won AFC championship games though. Like you guys are mad, and I get it, man. I get it. You guys never seen a playoff game. You never seen a damn divisional round win. I was at the stadium in 1993 when we beat the Chargers, bro, in the rain, and we didn't even let them score. We were like, we won Buffalo, and they come back and said, "Hold my beer." What the fuck? And then they go on, what? That was our shot at the Super Bowl. And then the other time was the Browns when Dan Marino tore his Achilles. I've never seen a greater season in my life, those freaking 8 games before. We wound up losing the last 5 games. Didn't even make the playoffs with some backup because the backup got hurt. And we had to use like the other 2 backups. I don't even know who they were. But it was crazy, bro. It was like every season is different, bro. Like I called it the greatest show on surf last year. My goodness, it was. Like we beat all the bum teams except for one.
Yeah, Bernie Kosar and Bird, right?
And it's crazy losing to the Titans back-to-back on Monday night. That is just unreal. And then to top it off.
I mean, think about it. Think about 2016. We had balance in 2016, and we had a decent offensive line. We were what, 8-2 or 8-3 before Campbell got hurt, or before Tannehill got hurt?
Was that Gase?
Tannehill had like 3 touchdowns in the first half versus the Cardinals. The team was like 7-2 or 8-3. I can't remember. That might have been the best team we've seen. As much as people hated on Tannehill. Yeah, 16. It was still Gase. It was just like that team was actually decent. We had balance. We
know what we got, like Tua has to be protected. He's a pocket quarterback. He can't run away from like people pressuring him. He can't get away.
But over the middle, Parker was healthy for once because it was a contract year. Just
we
fucking
ain't getting it, are we?
Sad, bro.
I couldn't hear anything you just said, bro. You're cutting in and out.
We also had
David
good ads on the offensive line that year.
There he is.
We brought in Brandon Albert at tackle, and we had Javon Bushrod at guard. The team was decent. Okay. We could run the ball. We had 5 200-yard games that year from Jay Ajayi. Hey. We beat the Bills in fucking Buffalo because I'm in such a
No, now he went out.
And he's gone.
Bro, he's like most Dolphins. We're all pissed off, bro. Let me tell you, David.
I know. We're all
David
getting fired up.
You know, Cole David, well, Matt is one state above me, and then another 2 states over is Johnny. So yeah. Cold is cold, bro. Let me tell you, bro. Because every time that cold goes down and it creeps down and it gets to Miami and they wind up being 50 degrees, they act like it's damn minus 20. Cracks me up. So I am used to the cold, Johnny, because to me, I can deal with anything above 35, you know? Like, damn, man, below 32 is cold is cold. Freezing point is freezing point, I guess. I don't know.
Right. But
I just need to wear layers like that kid on the story, you know? Wear layers when I go to the Browns.
Right. I get, the use to the cold, but Tennessee cold is a little warmer than Ohio cold, and Tennessee cold is a little warmer than Jersey cold. Just like if he's up in Rochester, his cold is worse than Jersey cold. He's farther north.
Dry cold, like Antarctica, North Pole, and all those got a dry cold because it's like minus 20 all the time, right? So it's like a dry air kind of deal.
Jersey's not a dry cold. It's a wet cold.
It's a wet cold. I get it.
I go outside. There's dew on the windows are frozen, and there's dew on top of the frozen window.
Summers here, man. We don't have that humidity in Miami at all, man. Here, you might have a couple days here a year, but we don't have that humidity where I walked out at 6 o'clock in the morning and freaking you're sweating in Miami. Like, what the hell? We don't get that here in Tennessee.
Jersey this year, I think we had over 20 days of 90+ humidity.
True. Look at that.
90%.
New York, we know about the cold, man. They all know, boy. Look at George. He's like always the same excuses. No, it ain't. It's the fact that we can't win in cold and the fact that we can't beat a team above 500 since we lucked out and got the Cowboys at home last year. And then proceeded to lose the last 2 games, man, to good teams as well. Yes, we need a good backup. All right, Lou. Hey, he agrees. He knows we're stuck with Tua now. We're not going to fire Tua, man. He's here another year or 2. You can fire him like maybe the last year of his contract because, no quarterback ever makes it. If it's a 4-year contract, they make it 3 and then want to renegotiate. Am I correct? Like no quarterback or player is going to play on their last year of their contract. Like Armstead, wouldn't he want if he's out of guaranteed money, wouldn't he want more money like Tyreek got?
No. Well, number one, he ain't getting more money like Tyreek got, but he may want.
Not exactly the amount, but Tyreek got more money, and because he said, I want more money, and Armstead, I'm sure is more money.
Tyreek really didn't get more money. They just moved things around to give him an extension, to get him another year, to give him more money that way. He really didn't. Am I wrong, Matt? He didn't get more money per year per se. They just extended him to give him another year.
Yeah. They just bring money forward and all that stuff.
Right.
They restructured his contract.
They finagled the numbers to help the team, to help him, give him more money. So in 2028, he'll be able to pay for his 48 kids and,
Look, laugh out loud. Those Cubans talk fast. Not as fast as them Puerto Ricans. Los puertorriqueños saben hablar rápido. Coño, ellos saben hacer con Grier, arroz. Look, he's going to laugh now because that's how they talk. They talk so fast, that Spanish, man. I can't even keep up with it. Finn's trivia question. We ain't had one.
Well, congratulations to Tyreek Hill and his wife on having the new baby.
It's 9 o'clock.
Oh, it's 9:05, bro.
9:05. We did it. We didn't even do a Finn's trivia question for the whole show.
Well, we'll save them for next week.
Yes, we'll save them for next week. I'm hot. I'm tired. I want to go eat.
Yeah,
I'm good for the show. Wow, that show went by so fast, man. Man, let's close the arguments today. Let's start with Johnny O, man. Let's close the show.
Hey, thanks for having me as always, Pedro. Love your show. I told you before the show, the way you do it in the round table and letting everybody get in there and say their piece. And you got 2 of the greatest when you got Matt Fineville and Tom O'Gara on with their knowledge. I'm knowledgeable about the Dolphins. These guys are knowledgeable about the NFL. They're spouting off names from other teams, and I watch football, but I don't follow them the way these guys do. So you're very lucky to have Tom and Matt on your show, and I appreciate you guys. And hopefully next week we're talking about a win against the Jets. I'll be down there. I leave on Friday, so I'll be down tonight, sunny Florida, and away from the cold for a few days.
Nice. Get to watch us beat up on the Jets, huh?
I'm hoping, and then I come home Monday evening. I work a couple days, and Thursday I leave to go to Houston.
Man, I really enjoyed the smash burger at the stadium. It melted in my mouth, man. It was literally the best burger I ever had. I don't know how a burger can disintegrate in your mouth like that, but the smash burger, if you ain't tried it, like the Cuban sandwich, it tastes like every other Cuban sandwich because there's so many bakeries out there in Miami. But this Smash Brothers burger was like 2 thin patties, and it melted in my mouth. It was so good. I remember it. That's how good it was. So I wish we had a Smash Brothers here in Knoxville, man. We don't. But dang, that burger was good. Matt, go ahead, man.
No, I mean, I this is therapy session for me. I can go to work and I can kind of vent, but none of the people I work with give two craps about the Miami Dolphins. So I enjoy coming on here, giving information, giving my opinions, letting go of some feelings. I feel like Tuesday night's perfect because we can let go of the past feelings and we can kind of get ready for next week's game. And at this point, it's going to take a miracle, guys. It's going to take a Miami miracle to get in the playoffs. We got to run the table and get lots of help. And right now, this week did not fall in our favor with the teams we needed to lose. They all won. So at this point in time, I'm not even worried about the playoffs, and I'm not a tank guy because tanking's for losers, man. I want to win all the games, go 10-7, and try to build for the future. So that's my piece.
Damn, I want to say I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Happy holidays, everybody. We're going to be here whether we're kicked out of the playoffs and we lose next week because one more loss, everybody knows it. We're done. It's over. Got to win all 5 games. My opinion, we win the next 3, and then the last 2 games is going to be like the Dolphins always. They're going to hurt us. They're going to hurt us one way or the other. It'll either be at the Browns or at the Jets, but they're going to hurt us. And if they don't and they win all 5 and we don't get the playoffs, it don't matter. We still get to run it back. If for some reason we lose 3 out of the last 5 and they move on from Grier, somebody gets fired, good. We'll move on. Some of the people that are mad will get happy because then we got a new GM. If not, then it's normal. Other than that, next week we'll see you for the Jets game. The stinking Jets, man. Oh, I love that. And it's at home, which is great. And thank you for all the birthday wishes, all the birthday gifts everybody gave me. And like I said, happy holidays. And like I said, the Dolphins are a team no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, man. I'm a Miami Dolphins for life, man. I appreciate this jersey coming from a friend of mine. He did pass away, though, the guy that gave it to me, which I don't know his name by the top of my head, but great guy.
Old Budman.
Yeah,
Chris Bolin.
The dude with the thing on his head.
Budman. Chris.
What's his real name?
Chris Bolin.
Yeah, Chris Bolin. I want to thank Chris Bolin. Rest in peace, man, for this gift that you gave Cruz that you didn't have to, man. It's an amazing hoodie with Cruz on the back. But thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you next week, man. Hopefully with a win, man. We can talk about the Jets. Good night.
Fins up, guys.
Fins up. We did it. Woo!